Hi, I'm G from Red Man Walking, and today we're in the Cairngorms heading for a summit camp on Bynack More. Well, hi folks, welcome back to the channel. So tonight we're heading up, I think it's the most southerly of the Cairngorms, Bynack More, and we've left purposefully late today because the intention is to do our next summit camp on the top of Bynack More. I've just left the car park, and before I left the car there I drove back to the reindeer centre to ask a bit of advice, because on the car park signs back there it says no overnight camping. Now, the lady in the reindeer centre has advised that the council have just taken over the controlling of the car parking, because they can put in meters, whereas the forestry that owns this part of the world, they can't. Now, it has been flagged up to them that this causes a problem for us campers who like to head into the mountains for overnight camps, because the maximum I could get the camping on there was up until 12 o'clock midnight tonight. So I'm hoping I don't get a £50 fine. I have left a note on the windscreen to say, you know, we're back early in the morning, car's not abandoned, and the intention is to be on the mountains tonight. So just keep that in mind if you're coming to do an overnight camp here. Other than that, most people come and do this as a single day. It's between 6.5 and 7 hours to get to the top. And yeah, this should be a glorious day. So yeah, this has been a bit of a change of plan. I was supposed to be up in the Asynth region, tapping off Ben More Asynth and Conneval, but having had a look at the weather forecast, they're getting 30 mph winds just now and rain, and I didn't feel like driving the 5 hours up there to climb 2 Munros and get no view. So we'll park that, we'll put a pin in that, and we'll revisit that at a later stage. Yeah, the Glenmore part of Aviemore is stunning. The start of this walk, you're heading through really ancient Scottish pine forests. This is part of the reason why they have big signs as you travel into here saying no barbecues and no open fires. I'm certainly going to be very careful with my camping stove on the top. Up Speyside recently, there have been massive fires. Now, I don't know what's caused them, it could be anything. I wouldn't like to speculate, but it has destroyed some real natural beauty up in the Spey Valley. So they're very keen, obviously. The trees round about here get set on fire. It would take them years, hundreds of years, possibly even thousands, to recover back to what we have now. So yeah, it's something to look after and to protect. But it's a different way to start a walk. Now, this is the Scottish holidays, but you can imagine what this is going to be like next week when the English schools go off and all the camper vans descend. So I'm glad I've come up and done it this week. Am I going for a swim? No, not yet. It's not that warm. But yeah, I'm going to walk along the beach get off the end, and then I think I've got to go round the corner a bit from here before heading up onto the hillside and on towards Bynack More. Right, this has been the Green Lochan. So when you reach that sign back there, the fork in the road, you want to stay to the right. That's where you'll leave those beautiful paths that seem to spiderweb their way across this part of Scotland, Allt Mor, and you're heading on the right track. Now, it's still like a Land Rover track, this. I know there's a lot of hunting and stuff goes on up here, so it's still very easy walking and not what I would consider to be normal mountain path. I mean, look, it doesn't get easier than this. I suspect this might be quite an easy one to do, and if I'm up early enough in the morning, I can get back down to the car, maybe find somewhere for breakfast in the morning. Abernethy biscuits. Now there's a blast for the past. Anyone remember them from their childhood? If I remember rightly, they were kind of like a weird mixture of rich tea and digestive. Do they still make them? If you've had an Abernethy recently, stick it in the comment. I don't even know if they still make them. Who knows? In stark contrast to other places in Scotland right now, the roads here are so dusty. It's almost like it hasn't been raining for ages, but it could just be down to this heat we're having at the minute. But yeah, I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to complain. I'll tell you what, if it's too windy on the summit, this could be an option. How flat is the ground down here? And you've got a stream right nearby for getting fresh water. Yeah, I'm going to take note of this one. It's a cracking wee camping spot. This is one that my brother and my nephew could come and do. Very near the Nethy Bothy. It's always quite nice to be able to see where you're going, and up ahead you can see the path snaking up the hill, and we're going to go head up and turn up to the right. And Bynack Moor's over there somewhere. It's been a very gentle incline so far, so we haven't gained a lot of height. That's the only thing I would say. It's been very easy. I'm having fun. Right, let's gain some height, and I'll bring you back when we get up to the top of this bit here. So there we go, we're getting good views of the summit of Bynack More. We're currently at 770 metres, and you can see at this point, if you wanted to do the wee corbett that's over the back here, you would keep going straight ahead. We're going off to the right, and there's a cairn mark in that point. So a difficult one to get lost on. Yeah, it's certainly cooled down a wee bit. The clouds have come over. We're still seeing blue sky off in the distance, but just not here. And that's fine, because it's been pretty warm today. And that'll save me having to wear my hat for a wee bit, let my head breathe. So yeah, not long and we'll be up onto the summit of this one. We're already, I say, at 770 metres, and this one sits at, I think, 1,089, I think, something like that. So we've got about another, what's that, 300 metres to go, and we'll be up onto the summit. Then we just have to find a patch to put the tent. If we can't get right up on the summit, we'll get somewhere a little bit further down. And if need be, I can always head back, get that beautiful wee spot next to the river. That'll be lovely for the night, I think. But no, the idea is to do a summit camp tonight, so that's what we're aiming for as plan A. Of course, as we know over this week, my plan A's have soon become plan B's. Well, the path has certainly started to get a bit steeper now. We're within the last 150 metres of the summit here. And yeah, I'm trying to scope out places where I could stick my tent. The problem we've got is it's either that moon grass or it's heather, both of which are thermarest pad killers. So yeah, I'll need to keep scouting out. And you know what, if I can't get a pitch up on the top of here, we'll just head back down to that idyllic little spot we saw earlier. Anyway, not far to go, and we'll be up on the summit. Well, that's me on the summit of Bynack More. The weather we had earlier on is very quickly changing and the clouds are coming across. I was going to summit camp on the top of here. Problem is, the ground is either rocky or covered in these really spiky little plants. So I'm going to make the decision now, before this rain comes in, to get the backpack back on, get back down the hill to that idyllic little spot that we saw earlier. I think that's going to be a brilliant wee place to spend the night. But yeah, it looks like I might get rather wet as I head back down the hill, so I'm not going to hang about, and I'll speak to you again when we get back down the hill and hopefully into a nice dry tent. Right, time to pack up. Well, apologies for the very abrupt ending to our Bynack More adventure up in Allt Mor. As I said in the video, the intention was to climb up onto the top of Bynack More, get the tent set up, and let you and me enjoy a beautiful sunset looking out towards Cairngorm and Ben Macdui. But literally, the minute I tapped off the summit of that mountain, the Cairngorm views disappeared. The clouds came sweeping across with the rain, the wind picked up, and I had to make a decision very quickly. Was this worth staying on the top of here and just sitting in my tent in the rain? I made the decision, no, there was absolutely no point. And having checked the weather forecast as I came down the hill, the rain was due to be on until the small hours in the morning. So I wasn't going to have any views that night, and I was going to be carrying a wet, soggy tent back down off the top of the hill. So that didn't sound like fun to me, so I decided to head back down the hill, see if I could get the little idyllic spot next to the river. But unfortunately, when I got there, there was a 3-man tent plonked in the middle of it. Somebody had already beaten me to that spot, and so it was a very easy decision after that to head back to the car, get myself dry and warm, and head back down to Falkirk from Allt Mor, which was a bit of a drive, and I did get in at about 1:30 in the morning. But yeah, I think that video goes to show that sometimes the plans you make don't always go the way you want them to go. And in this occasion, I didn't get my summit camp. It'll happen at another time. Anyway, that was Bynack More. I'm going to leave you with the route map up. And all that remains for me to say is go and create your own adventures, and we'll see you on the next one.